At age 6, Enrique Ramirez was like a lot of other first graders.
I think my mom was real proud of me. I know I was proud. I was going to do something. I was a Boy Scout. Learn how to tie them knots and do the right things. One thing, I never did read that book that they gave us. We got 31 kids in here, and I'll just tell you the ones that could read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them were the smart ones in the class. All of us had reading and writing problems. Nobody knew. Guess that's where it started.
Of the millions of children who start school each year, 2 out of 10 do not learn to read or write.
I started hanging around some other guys. We started getting into a lot of things, started getting into trouble. We started breaking into our schools. We started a lot of fights and riots up at our school. The teachers went on strike. We trashed the school.
3 out of 10 students drop out before finishing high school.
9th grade, I thought that was it for me. Tried to hang myself in the basement. I couldn't do it. It just broke and snapped. I fell. That's where I thought my life was going to be. I was going to end up in the street. Something happened, and I slipped through the system.
Of the students who do finish high school, 1 out of 4 still lacks basic literacy skills.
It's scary when you can't go shopping, or your doctor says, I want you to go to x-rays. Go down the hall, you'll see the signs. You go down the hall and just take an elevator and go home. You're missing something, and it's scary.
It's estimated that as much as half of America's workforce has reading and writing problems.
I work in the airline industry, and I was what we call a cargo handler. They offered me a job in management. I was ready to quit because I was scared. I have to do more paperwork. I have to read, I have to write, I got to do more things. I can't do that. But to tell them that I can't read and can't write, I'd get fired.
When parents can't read and write, their children are twice as likely to lack literacy.
What brought me to learn how to read and write was it was my son. Now I see my son coming up to me, asking me to read him a bedtime story. And I'm pushing him away. Any other parent who can read and write, that is no problem. But my problem was I couldn't do this little simple thing. I mean, if your son was to come up to you and ask you to pour a glass of milk and you don't have the hands to do it, then you would understand, because that's what it's like. You're helpless. And what do you have? Anger. And I was tired of anger. I was tired of having my self-esteem down, and I didn't want to pass that on.
At 28, Enrique found out about a nearby library literacy program.
So I was laying in bed one night, and I seen this advertisement on TV about some guy who didn't know how to read and write, and he's going through a reading program. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I write the number down, and I call. 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm ready to learn, I want to learn to read now. So I call them up, and they asked me, to come on down. They gave me the address. So I went down there, and I was nervous. Parked my truck, realized it was a library. This is weird. Library. I thought people just went to a library to read, but libraries do other things. They hooked me up with a tutor. We go, we meet, and she asked me, what do you want to do? All I want to do is read a bedtime story. That's all I want to do now. And I tell you, that was the hardest book in my life, but it was the most beautiful book I ever read in my life, because it's probably the only book I ever read in my life. My tutor, I think, has a lot of patience, because I'm pretty tough. I can't get it. I get frustrated. I'll put my pencil down. I don't get it. But she doesn't get mad. She doesn't get a ruler out and spank my hand, and she doesn't sit me in the corner.